Jai Sri Krishna. Let's start discussion on the AML Business Analyst AI powered transaction monitoring system. So in this topic, we will discuss on the new technique of creating or the building the transaction monitoring system with the AI and ML technique. So what are the roles and responsibilities of business analyst in such kind of transaction monitoring system, and what are the challenges we need to face in the traditional transaction monitoring system. So we will discuss detail on that topic in this video. So before I request you, please like and subscribe my channel, so and the my video, so that's motivate me to create more such content videos for you, and make sure you to the as per the industry knowledge and the new techniques you should aware. So let's start discussion on this topic. So let's discuss first on the challenges of traditional AML anti-money laundering systems that faced by the banks or the financial institution, and then start discussion on the introduction or more details on the AI powered transaction monitoring system. So the problem with transaction monitoring system, it is an the traditional or it is the old based system which is used the logic of rule based AML system that overwhelm will, and that has the some the fixed rules or the logics implemented in that system, and on that basis system will generate the alerts. From that, the system will generate the more fails positive alert, and that alerts require the more human interactions, and the more team like operation team or the finance team or the compliance team will required on that system, and that system has not 360-degree view of the customers, and the data will flow that system with ETL or with the limited data. That system should have to create the 360 degree of understanding, so core banking system interaction required or to connect the branch. So these are the limitations of the old transaction monitoring system. And the high volume financial institution process billions of the transactions daily. So the transaction number or the volume of transaction very high, and that number are not sufficient for the traditional AML system. So we need to move on the updated system or the AIML system or the real based system, real time based system. Basically traditional system are rule based or the batch processing system. So there is not the real time transaction monitoring will happen. So let's discuss on the there is we fit the static rules, the legacy system really on the fixed rule which are fitted in the every in the once every year, and on that basis the system will generate the flags or the alerts on the transactions. The result, the massive number of fails positive leading to alert fatigue and insufficient investigation and time consuming, and that will create the backlog for the compliance or the operation team to work on that. And evolving the threat, sophisticated criminal easily bypass the static rule through technique like structuring, breaking the large transaction into the smaller ones. So they will send the money in the smaller amount. If suppose the India has limited for the 1 lakhs or the 10 lakhs for certain kind of or the transaction, so they will send the 9 lakhs or the 90,000 on that basis of threshold amount, the below transaction amount to the threshold amount, and they clean their money or do the terrorist financing on that thing. So these are the limitations or these are the challenges. So traditional transaction monitoring system or the AML system have. So then we will go on to the AI power transaction monitoring system or the AIML transaction power monitoring system that will use the new techniques or new methods to reduce the fails positive rate and to increase the positive rates, or to consider the manual work, reduce the manual work, and automatically generate the suspicious transaction report or the cash transaction report or the suspicious activity report. So let's introduction to the AI power transaction monitoring system. So let's discuss first on the what is the AI power transaction monitoring system, or what transaction monitoring system we called as a AI power transaction monitoring system. Basically it is an the machine learning algorithm to analyze, or the system that use the machine learning algorithm to analyze the vast amount of data and to generate the alerts on the basis of customer behavior or the transaction volume, so that there is the involvement of the machine learning methodologies, and Then the dynamic learning, unlike the traditional system, the AI model can learn from the historical data and adopt the new technology or the new or the complex pattern of the customer behavior. And there is a, the penalty and the reward system, that if the system is work accurately or as expected, then we will reward the system and that learn, and the penalize the system when the system do the wrong or the fraudulent way. So that's the deep learning or reinforcement learning will increase the efficiency of system, and continuously the models will upgrade their self as the customer behavior or the customer pattern will get changes. So let's discuss on the key capabilities that the anti-money laundering or system have with implementing the AI powered. So first one is anomaly detection, third one is a behavior profiling, and the network analysis or the link analysis. So then anomaly detection, so to identify the transaction that device from customer normal behavior, so that identify the such kind of transactions, or it is the single kind of transaction. So then it is not the system or the AI system will itself analyze that on the basis of 360 degree of the customer or the count of the transaction or the amount of transaction. So it is and the true positive transaction or the fails positive transaction, and generate alerts accordingly. And the behavior profiling, create an unique risk profile for each customer based on their transaction history and other data. So the AIML technique, it should collect the data from different sources like the core banking system or the card payment system or the transaction system, collect this data and create its own the behaviors of the customer on that they generate the alerts. So the network analysis uncover the hidden connection and the relationship between seemingly unrelated accounts, helping identify the money mules network. So there are the networks between, so the individual entity or the accounts or the products, they have the relationship between or the link between the transactions, and some the director or the higher authority may clean their or to create some sale companies and to clean their money and to show that is it is earned by the clean money. So the banks or the AIML technique will help to do the network analysis methodology or the link analysis that can help where the source of fund, what are the process implement that on that fund, and what are the destination of fund, so where that fund gets stored and who use that fund. So that's the link analysis or the network analysis method we can implementing by using the AIML transaction monitoring system. So let's move on the next slide, that is the role of the AI ML business analyst in the AI era. So what are the roles and the responsibilities of the ML business analyst get changed or get updated in the AI era? So let's discuss on these one by one. So the from the operator to strategics. So first, the role of AIML business analyst transforming to think on the AI era. So it should be think on each model or the model perspective. So we need to use the supervised learning, semi-supervised learning, how it should work, how we filter the customer is fraudulent or the non-fraudulent, and it should be strategic way to how to thinking to think beyond the 360 degree and identify the process flow that will sufficient or the strategies that will help the bank or the financial institution or the insurance institution to identify the illicit activity or the suspicious transactions. So then the data steward, so ensure the quality and integrity and the security of data used in the train AI models. So they make sure that the whatever the data we feed to train the AI model, and what are the techniques or the methodology we use, and how to do the train test split of the data of the AI model, and how to trace the data, how to do the trace testing, scenario analysis of that model, what are the method we use the to analyze that model behavior. So that's the to it. And then the part comes the model validator or the model validation techniques and the asset in the validation and the testing of new AI model to ensure they are effective, fair, and the complement regulatory. So he should do the model validator or use the model validation technique like trace testing, scenario analysis, or the back testing of that model, and to make sure that the model is satisfy the regulatory requirement back the bank requirement, and that will detect the customer behavior or the customer behavior pattern and identify the suspicious transaction in the system. So we will feed to do the back testing to feed the historical data that model, and then check the performance of that model, and then take a resize and the human in a loop, so that it is. And the third thing, to provide the critical human oversight and the business analyst expertise or the analyst expertise in vital for interpreting the complex cases and making the decision that the AI cannot. So that help us the decisions that take by the businesses or the compliance team or the operation team related to the AI generated model or the AI model are easily show the data of that customer or the 360-degree data of customer, or to graph or the total the visualization of that customer data, so that the operation team or the compliance team can analyze the customer behavior or the customer pattern and the license. So in the era of the AI, the business analyst in the AIML will be act as a bridge between the compliance team and the data scientists and the regulators, ensure the effective communication and implement of AI solution. So the business analyst will make sure that they will communicate with the compliance team or the data scientist team or the business team or the operation team or the higher management team of that bank and the regulator, and ensure that the all the compliance things or all the requirements of the regulator are implemented in the system, and they are performing as the regulator want or has the higher authority of that bank wants. So they make sure these things and to do the calibration or validation of these models. So let's move on the next slide. So the key feature of AI power system. So what are the features we will get, or what are the features we take benefits after we use the AI power system? So that first one is a real time monitoring, reduce the fails positive rate, dynamic risk scoring, explainable AI, and the case management optimization. So let's discuss each features one by one. So the after implementing the AI/ML system, the banks or the financial institution or the insurance organization are able to do the real-time monitoring, or they are able to do the real-time the process of transaction that has that happen, and enabling the faster detection and the suspicious responses. So the real-time or the near real-time transaction will before to run the transaction or the success the transaction, if they find that is and the suspicious activity or the criminal activity, they can debit freeze the both the account, the beneficiary account and the sourcer or the account or the sender account or the receiver account. So that's the benefit of real time monitoring system. Or they may be send OTP and to get the data, and then the reduce the fails positive. Definitely the AI is distinguished between the genuine begin and the unusual activity, allowing analysts to focus on the true risks, and that will help, and that on the basis of customer behavior on the customer pattern. So the system will easily generate it is and the fails positive or the true positive result, or they are also provide the description of that the result, why these are the fails positive they are considering, and why the compliance team or the operation team interaction are not required for such transaction, and why the other transaction is true positive has a system things. So that thing is detailed, and then the team will work on that. So dynamic risk scoring, so the automatically assign a risk score to each customer and transaction based on the multiple factors. So the system will automatically identify the factors or analyze the factors to different fields or the different pattern, and on that basis or that analysis based system will assign the risk score of each customer to use the classification technique like low risk, medium risk, or high risk to assign the risks on that customer, and the case management optimization. So once the user or the compliance team or the operation team identify that it is an the suspicious transaction, then they will file the case of that the transaction on that customer against that customer, and to do the further analysis to gather the requirement from the core banking system or the banking operation team or the customers to collect the information and to do the further analysis. So that process we called as a case management. So streamlining the investigation workflow and allowing for more efficient and alert review reporting and to manage this process in detail way. So let's move on the next slide, that is the challenges and opportunity by implementing the AI powered transaction monitoring system. So what are the challenges for the banks or the business analyst will face while implementing this, and what are the opportunities he or she should have? So the first challenge is the data quality, ethical concern, and the regulatory ambiguity. So then in the data quality, the AI model are only as a good has the data they are trained on. So it's the entire the AI model, the expected outcome will depend on the how the data or the what are the data we feed them to train the model or to generate the results of that model on the basis of train and test, and the split of the matter model. So the poor data leads to poor outcomes, and that will not generate the genuine or this transaction or the true positive transactions. And ethical concern, a risk of algorithm bias, and where the model might unfairly flag the certain demographics and they are not able to identify the genuine transaction on the basis of certain the demographics. So that's one of the challenges. And the regulatory ambiguity. So the regulator landscape is still catching up to the rapid space of AI development, and the regulator system are not maybe not sufficient to the AI ML system. So that's one of the challenges. So let's discuss on the next slide, that is on the opportunities. So there are the three opportunities. One is enhance the efficiency, obviously, and improve the detection and the proactive compliance. So let's discuss one by one. So after implementing the AI power system, the system enhancement will increase, and the true positive or will rate will increase, and the false positive rate will increase, and that will help us to automate the routine the tasks and freezing the analysis of the higher value works. And the automatic tracks, so to collect data from the core banking system or to collect the data from other system, and that data to feed the transaction monitoring system where they will use the AML technique and to generate the alerts. So these are the things automatically, and then system automatically run that on that basis transaction and generate the alerts and to do if they find that it is and the fails positive. So or the fails positive. So why these are the fails positive, to comment on such transaction and then pass on the true positive transaction on the basis of the customer behavior and the past history of that customer to the operation team or to the compliance team, or it is and the employee of that bank, so to transact that history to the HR team. So these the things in the improvement in the detection and the proactive compliance. So enabling the financial institutions to stay ahead of new threat and the regulatory challenges and improve their the system. So these are the things. So let's discuss on the conclusion, the future of the AML. So how the future or what are the conclusion we learn from these videos. So the future of AML is a collaborative partnership between the human expertise and the AI technologies. So in the future, the AML technique are the collaboration partnership between the human expertise and the AML technologies, and the human should be able and understand how the AIML methodology will work in the transaction monitoring system, and what are the tools and techniques that are now in there the current that will help us to understand the AI technology. So let's move on the next, that is AI empower the AML business analyst to more the strategic and efficient and the effective and the efficient in the ongoing battle against the financial crime. So that AI will help us to generate the data to think the 360-degree way and to fight against the ongoing financial crime, or to identify the criminal behavior and what their thinking level, and what are the new techniques they are implementing to clean their money or to fraud, to do the fraud in the financial system or to financing for the terrorists. So that's the level of that level thinking will take from the AML techniques. And the transactions require a new skills, a focus on data governance and the commitment to ethics, AI development. So to understand the AI benefits and to upgrade the system or add the new skills on the basis of data governance and commitment ethical AI. So let's discuss on the AI, the synergy create a more robust and dynamic and resilience financial crime prevent the framework or the previous framework. So these are the conclusion from these videos, so we learn. So guys, that is the end of this video. If you like my efforts and if you like my video and if you want any feedback that I need to add and what thing I need to learn or what are the topics, if I need to create the videos for you to understand these things, so please suggest me. And thanks once again to watch this video, and please like and subscribe my channel so that motivate me to create more such videos for you. Thank you so much guys once again.